Before I dive in, I wanted to share something with you. Now, I've been speaking with so many entrepreneurs who are feeling that tinge of excitement or the pull to be called in a new direction to launch something so much bigger. And I think this is because a lot of people are really bored, they're feeling burned out, or this thing that they've built, this business that they built, is no longer fueling their creative fire. And so, guess what? They're feeling uninspired, and it's becoming harder and harder to keep growing this thing that they built, and they're feeling the call for something more. If any of that has resonated, I want to share something with you today that I am so proud of. It's so amazing. It is a brand new private audio podcast series called Reinvention Season. This experience is designed to help you pivot powerfully without burning it all down. Join me, Tracy Matthews, for this 3-step process to evolve your business and step into your next chapter with clarity and confidence. So all you have to do to get instant access right now is head on over to tracymatthews.com/reinvention season, or check out the link in the show notes and we'll take you right there. Your next big idea is waiting to emerge from you, and it's time. Now is the time. Let's do this. Hey there, it's Tracy here. Welcome back to the show. I am so excited to have you here to talk a little bit more about a big change that's happening that I love to share with you. And I also want to share with you a little bit more about why your creative expansion and reinvention are necessary for your brand evolution. Now, here is an important thing. Now, my mission, I have been called to something so big, and I have been honestly ignoring the calling for many years, about 5 years right now. And I'm going to share with you a little bit more during this episode about why ignoring the calling has become problematic for me and for literally my mission. Because here's the thing, I heard this quote once: the magic you seek is in the work you're avoiding. And when you are at your highest level of creative expansion, you are always reinventing yourself, because in order to expand, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable and break out of your old identity. In order to expand, you have to get uncomfortable and break out of your old identity. Reinvention does not mean burning everything down. But what it does mean is that you are upgrading into a version of yourself that has the capacity to expand beyond your existing offers or business. And without taking this shift, without risking a little bit, without betting on yourself, don't expect anything to change in your world, right? Don't expect anything to change in your world. And now that you're in my world, I would love to share with you a little bit more about what's going on over here. You've heard about it. You've heard me talking about it on some of these other episodes. The real magic, though, has been in the work that I've been avoiding, or putting off, maybe is a better way to put it, because it's not that I was intentionally avoiding anything. It's just this calling is so big. So I've been through many reinvention processes in my, 30-year history of being an entrepreneur. And every single time I felt so scared. I had no idea what I was doing. The calling was so big that I knew that if I didn't take it, I was going to regret it for the rest of my life. And the reason why I share this with you is because even at that moment when I was in my early 20s, when I decided to become a jewelry artist and launch myself onto the independent designer scene, and then finally quit my full-time job in corporate, working in corporate sales at Nordstrom, to launch this business and overcome the fear of putting myself out there, picking up the phone, feeling like I was going to throw up every single day, because every single day I was expanding so much that it terrified me. That I would be here now on my 5th business reinvention, sharing this with you, feels crazy. So I want to bring us back. In 2009, there was a moment in time when I was running down the streets of New York City, Houston Street to be specific, in the middle of the dead heat in the summer. It was swampy and sweaty and disgusting. In fact, I was wearing my Havaiana flip-flops. I believe they were yellow, running down the street. One of them broke. I stubbed my toe on the sidewalk, practically fell trying to run across the street with my flip-flops. So I took them off, ran barefoot down Houston Street. And the reason why I was running down Houston Street was this. I was at Whole Foods on Houston. If anyone knows that Whole Foods, if you know, you know what I'm talking about. Buying myself lunch one day. And I lived in the neighborhood and I was buying myself lunch and my debit card got declined. So I'm like, what's up with that? It's like $15. Like, I don't have enough money to buy myself lunch. In fact, I have thousands of dollars in that account. Why is it declined? So I'm like, maybe I punched my PIN in incorrectly. So I did it again, declined. I'm like, what the heck is happening? So I called the bank. I'm like, this is weird. Called the bank and they're like, oh, we have a lien on your account. I'm like, what's that? They're like, you can't take any money out. We froze your account. And so I called a trusted mentor and they're like, get to the bank now, because they knew I had a safe deposit box there, and get everything out of your safe deposit box, or else they could also freeze that too. So here I am running down the streets of Houston Street, trying to figure out what the heck is going on, barefoot at this point, and completely stressed out because I literally was at this point where I had to change my phone number because the creditor calls were coming in so big. And if you haven't heard this, in 2008, the market crashed and basically wiped out my business. It's a long story short, I was advised after I decided to wind down my business to file for bankruptcy. And there's a whole bigger story about it, but I don't want to get into that. But it was in this moment that I knew I had to do something different, that I knew I had to rise up and step into a new identity, because this was not who I was. I was not broke Tracy. I was not this girl who could barely buy herself lunch. I was not this girl who felt like she was about to be homeless. I was not this girl who had liens on her bank account. And I knew that in order to overcome these challenges, that I would have to step into a new identity. And I'd also have to reinvent the way that I was doing business. And so I'm sharing this story with you because right before you're about to expand onto something very big, things will crumble right before that. It might feel very hard for whatever reason. It might not necessarily even mean that your business is having challenges, but you might have internal struggles. It might be issues with your relationships. It might be financial struggles. There are a lot of different things that could pop up. It's always in those moments when you're on the verge of something really huge that everything feels very hard. And I want to share with you some of the big changes that are coming around here with Flourish and Thrive Academy, with my other brands that I've been putting off for a while, and with me. And I am launching a new program. It's called The Art of Reinvention. I just launched a free secret podcast called Reinvention Season, and I will have links in the show notes if you want to learn any more about that. But I want to share a little bit more about why I'm launching this program and why we're restructuring some things in my businesses. Now, first, I am highly creative. And I truly believe that when people are fully expressed in their creativity and their gifts, anything is possible for them. When they ignore that, though, that's when things get hard, because creativity isn't just about art. It's your ability to turn nothing into something. It's about taking ideas and turning them into something big. Like, you have this idea to create jewelry, or you have this idea to launch a program, whatever that might look like. It is also key to solving complex problems. So if you're having challenges right now in your life or business, your creativity is the juice that is going to solve those problems. And it's also the key foundation to creating meaningful outcomes for you and your business, or wherever you are on your journey. Now, I know this deeply because for a while, I wasn't fully stepping into my own creativity. And this is why this work is so important. And when I wasn't stepping into my own creativity, when I wasn't following this creative calling that I've been moved into, guess what? The universe kept smacking me above the head. Tracy, are you going to listen? This is your mission. It's your time. You need to start this conversation now. And so I was set up with a bunch of big challenges, like a huge conflict in my relationship with Jason. We've since overcome it. Such a big conflict that my business actually got in the way. And he said to me at one point, Tracy, you are in a relationship with your business, not me. And I want to be in a relationship with you. And if that's not something that you want to be in with me, then we're going to have to move on from this. That literally was like a wake up call for me. This is a couple of years ago, because I realized part of the reason why I was in this relationship with my business is because I was not moving in the direction that I was supposed to be moving into. And my work became very triggering to me. It became very personally challenging for me and was putting me in some really bad situations and became hard to even show up for a lot of things. The other part of this, being highly creative and knowing that if I want to step into my creative expansion, that creativity is energy. It's the inspiration and the force that fuels what you're meant to be doing. And if you aren't fueling that creative fire within you, and as I mentioned earlier, it's not just about creating art. So yes, creativity is great for designing amazing pieces of jewelry, for painting amazing paintings, for designing programs, like whatever it is. But it's also so much more than that. And that creative force is the energy that moves you forward and fuels what you're meant to be doing. Now, the other thing that I think is really important is that many people have a vision for what they want to create, but they fail to see the vision beyond their vision. I've worked with so many creatives at this point, and I couldn't even believe that this was actually a possibility. But here's the thing. I was chatting with a bunch of people, including Jason and a bunch of other people in my life who have different skill sets than I do. I'm a visionary through and through. I'm great at strategy. And not all types are amazing at creating expansive visions. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of times we play so small because we can't see beyond our current situation. We can't see beyond what our mind is telling us is possible for ourselves. But we know, if you've been following me for a while, you know that anything can be reprogrammed, right? So our subconscious mind is here to keep us safe. But if we want to step into our highest level of wealth expansion, our highest level of creativity, our highest level of impact and meaning here on this earth, then you know that you have to have vision for that. But not everyone can see it for themselves. The vision that you have, it's part of the reason why in all of my programs, I always start with, what is your vision of success? And why is that important to you? Because without that vision beyond your vision, you just get into this mode of like working just to work. And guess what? You're not going to be expanded into the fully expressed, most wealthy version of yourself without that creative energy behind you. And so that vision beyond your vision is the most important part of that. And when I launched Flourish and Thrive Academy all these years ago, my goal was to help people who are emerging artists and designers who were on earlier in the stages of their journey and even further along their stages of their journey, to show them that there was another way, to inspire them to see their full potential and think bigger. This was the whole idea behind why I started Flourish and Thrive Academy and why my brands are expanding in this way. I'm driven to help people not to just achieve what they think is possible, but to expand their vision and align it with their highest purpose, their highest impact, the legacy that they are creating here on this earth. And it was I was at an event, at a Brendan Burchard event to be specific, where we were asked to get into these small groups and share a big vision that we had for ourselves. And this thing just like dropped through me. And it was so powerful. And I wrote down this term, creatives run the world. And then I reshaped it to creatives rule the world. And I'm like, I want to do a TED Talk with 20 million views. And I announced this at an event that I was hosting in 2018. And everyone was so supportive and they were excited. 2019 got away with me as we were growing the business. Things were scaling. We had an amazing year in 2019. 2020 starts. Jason and I start dating. 2020 starts. And this was my year that I was going to start this mission for Creatives Rule the World. And the world shut down, right? Everything changed, right? And so I put this vision I had on the back burner. But it is my belief that your creativity is your biggest gift, is the thing that is going to change everything for you. And it is the key and core to you expanding and reinventing yourself, to you reimagining your brand, reimagining your vision, and stepping in to this thing that is a big impact for you. So I've reinvented so many times in my career. As I mentioned, I think earlier in this podcast, I've gone through 5 reinventions. This is my 5th reinvention right now. It's been a constant on my journey, and I've seen firsthand how powerful it can be, because when you're stepping in to this bigger calling, you are here to make an impact on your communities, to make impact on your family, to make impact on your audience, to make an impact on the people you serve, to make an impact on the people who are buying your jewelry or your products or whatever it is that you sell, right? The challenge is that a lot of times people get part of the way. They create this vision, something they want to do, they get part of the way, and then they get stuck. They get stuck and they're not sure how to get unstuck. And so guess what happens? They revert back to what they know. They keep doing things that feel comfortable. They play small, right? Because that's what feels comfortable. And stretching beyond, creatively expanding beyond what they know to be true is it's like something that gets them stuck because it's uncomfortable to grow, right? It's uncomfortable to expand. So I've been called to support creatives on their journey in a much bigger way. You're going to be seeing my speaking tour coming up pretty soon, hopefully. My mission is to help anyone who's listening to this, anyone who is feeling called to something big, whether it's a jewelry business, whether it's a bigger message, whatever it is to help creatives move past this point of getting stuck so that they can take their ideas and turn them into profit-driven, purpose-driven, impact-driven companies that resonate with their audience on a bigger scale. And so here's the thing. This is my mission. This is what I'm here to do. And here's why it's important to you. A couple of key things that I want you to take away. Creative expansion is a non-negotiable in your creative process. And that creative expansion is going to require you to shed the parts of you that are no longer serving you, to let go of the old version of you, to release the things, the energy that's not yours anymore, right? It's like we're in the year of the snake. Snakes shed their skin every season, right? So that they can expand. And it's in that shedding where the brilliance happens. And sometimes you're going to experience parts of you, I hate to put it this way, but parts of you dying. And in that process, in that upgrade that you're experiencing, you're going to have people who are resistant to it. It's just a normal part of the process. You might find that you don't resonate with certain relationships in your family anymore. It's just how it goes, right? Or not necessarily in your family, but like just different relationships that you have. Hopefully your family is completely supportive. You're going to see things happening, and then what's going to happen? Your brain is going to tell you, oh no, it's not safe to expand. Play small. I'm going to tell you you're not worthy. I'm going to tell you you don't deserve this. I'm going to tell you that X, Y, and Z is the reason why you can't do that. It's not safe. It's not safe. But really, it's not safe to stay the same. You have to expand and grow. So if you're not expanding, you're basically dying. And the magic you seek is in all the work that you're avoiding. So one little takeaway here is if you're avoiding things in your business or avoiding the call, avoiding the things that you've outgrown, then notice that and start addressing that. Because if you don't, you're going to outgrow your audience. You're going to outgrow your talents. You're going to outgrow your skill set. And all of this requires you to step into this new version of yourself. And it's going to be so amazing, my dear. I'm so excited for you, and I cannot wait to see what you create. And if you'd like some support on that journey, here is official invitation. I'm going to be launching a program in the spring called The Art of Reinvention. We have a application open right now, and a basically wait list. So if you'd like to learn more about the art of reinvention, you can head on over to tracymatthews.com/art of reinvention and fill out an application. You're just going to see an application right there. Or check out the show notes. There's also some additional links. If you want to get a little bit more about this 3-part reinvention process that I have developed, that I've used for all of my reinventions, that have helped me really step into being a leader, not only in the jewelry industry, but now the creative industry, and really being a trailblazer for creatives who are making money and doing the things and stepping up and owning their worth and all the things, then check it out. It's called Reinvention Season. It's a free private podcast. You do have to opt in to get it because it's not on the feed. So there's a link in the show notes, or you can head on over to tracymatthews.com/reinvention season and grab it right there and listen to it. And you're going to learn a little bit more about my reinvention process, the 3 stages of reinvention, and how to really cultivate this idea that you have and bring it to life a lot faster. So whether it's a new collection, whether it's a new expanded offering in your business, whether it's expanding beyond your existing offers, whether it's, creating a different arm in your business that seems completely unrelated, there's a way to do this without burning your business down, and also in a way that brings your audience along for the ride, which is what we're trying to do, is to just increase your visibility and impact. So if you'd like to learn more about those, check out the show notes, or you could just reach out to me on Instagram. I am Tracy Matthews, or at Flourish_Thrive, and we are here to support you on your journey. So thank you so much. We're so excited about these big changes. I am so excited to watch you evolve. And remember, the magic you seek is in the work you're avoiding. So let's dive in to that work you're avoiding so that you can step into your creative expansion and grow. All right. Ciao for now. Just a reminder, you don't have to burn it all down to reinvent yourself or even nurture the spark of your new idea. If today's episode sparks something inside of you and you're feeling that nudge that it's time for something new, then my private podcast, Reinvention Season, is exactly what you need. Inside, I'll guide you through the mindset shifts, strategies, and action steps to pivot with power without losing the momentum that you've built growing your brand. This is your invitation to step into your next chapter with confidence, clarity, and conviction. Head on over to tracymatthews.com/reinvention season. There's also a link in the show notes for your convenience. All right, thanks so much for listening to this episode today. I'd love to hear what you loved the most. So if you'd like, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I am Tracy Matthews. I can't wait to hear what you enjoyed.